This game uses only two buttons. Press X or B when enemies are in range.
Silver dollar.
Alright, welcome back for the first time, madmen, to a brand new Let's Play of One Finger Death Punch. I am your host, XelionGraves, with my lovely Jeremiah. Wah! This is an indie game that, as far as I'm aware, came out just today, and it is, well, for lack of better terminology, it is freaking awesome. Now then. The basic concept is just like the old Super Avatar Hero Force, something like that. You have two buttons, X and B. You can't move, but you can use attacks to fight the enemy off and move around the area through that form. Incredibly simple, yes, but to master it, nearly impossible. Now, let's go ahead and get right into this. As you can see, I've already been playing generously. But to make things fair for the viewer, we'll go right back to the beginning.
Round one. You cannot move in this game. Wait for enemies to enter the zone.
Indeed. Once they get within that area in front and behind us, we will be able to use the X and B buttons. Now, of course, you may be asking yourself, where on your body is the X and B button? This is something that may never be answered in your lifetime, but we will continue nonetheless.
The enemy has entered the zone. Notice how the gray enemies take one hit.
Gray enemies like that, whatever gray is, will be defeated in a single hit. But be warned, as time proceeds, there will be more variations of these enemies, and sometimes they get pretty darn tough.
Press X now to attack this enemy. Wait for enemies to approach you.
Come on, now.
Using only the X and B buttons.
Ooh! Feeling that in the morning. Calm up. Yeah.
Round complete.
Awesome.
Press X
Moving right
or
along.
B when enemies enter your
On
zone.
up.
You will see the X or B zones light up. You are able to attack.
Thank you, Grandmaster.
Round complete.
Whoosha! Now, of course, this game was
Missing
created by
leaves you
Silver
open to
Dollar
enemy attacks.
Games.
Try
I believe
not to
it's
miss.
called. Their goal with this was to create the ultimate Street Fighter game. And quite honestly, they
This
did a
number
pretty
is
good
your
job.
overall mastery. Keep playing to increase this score. Fewer misses gives you a higher score.
One Finger Death Punch is the first on-rail fighter. I don't know about that, actually. I'm pretty sure I've played through quite a few. As you madmen out there may or may not know, I am a fairly big connoisseur of the indie games coming out on the Xbox 360. And every time there's something of note, I'm usually on it. Now granted, I don't normally do a Let's Play of
This is
these
how many men you need
games.
to kill.
However,
This is your
this is quite interesting enough to warrant a Let's Play itself. And the primary rule here, the enemies, oh dear. Anyways, the enemies continue to get faster and faster the better you hit.
All throwing weapons kill in one hit.
What we got here? Ah, throwing daggers. Awesome.
Press X or B to throw. You grab throwing weapons of enemies that carry them. 3 arrows. Men left.
Ooh, gotcha. Got you too. Perfect. Awesome.
You are rewarded with a medal if you miss less than 10 times.
A nifty little trick here as well. I forget where it was, but eventually skills are awarded to special arena areas, special stages that are shaped like these. Little squares with divots in the top and bottom and panels on the sides from the feel of it. These grant specialized abilities such as 3 arrows.
Every bow comes with 2 additional arrows.
Normally, you pick up a bow and you would only have that 1 arrow to fire, and then you would move on back to your fisticuffs. This allows for 3 arrows instead of 1. Same with these, 3 daggers instead of 1. And over here, Light 'em Up is an ability that lasts 10 seconds.
Light up all enemies for 10 seconds.
What it actually does is it seems to add panels to the sides of the arena, and if the opponents enter that sphere, so to speak, they will be considered in range, regardless of how far away they are. All the abilities activate after defeating a certain amount of enemies.
Round.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. Ah, yes. A little confusing there. On up.
Press X or B in the combat zone. Buttons move slowly in this zone.
Ah, these are fun. These individuals are a lot more tenacious than most of the other, or rather, any of the other enemies. They are called brawlers because they love to be in this combat zone that is flashing in the background. How that impacts the environment, I have no clue, but it's probably detrimental to something. Anyways, these magical floating X buttons in the background above us that you can see are the key to defeating this enemy. But you have to act fast, because if they go through the ground, you will be hit. And depending on the type of stage that we are in, you will have varying amounts of health. So be warned. You could have 10 points of health, you could have 5, you could have 4, you could even have 1. And if you get hit in those, it's bye-bye. Now let's continue on. Ow. And of course, if you miss...
Some brawlers require you to press B and X. Once you engage a brawler, you must defeat him before fighting other enemies.
Whoa.
10 men left.
Eat that. Gotcha. Now then.
Gold medal awarded.
What was I saying there? Ah, yes, misses. If you miss, it leaves you wide open to be hit.
Round. Green enemies have 2 hits.
So it's
Enemies
much
hits
more worth it.
indicated below them.
If you think you might miss, just wait. Better to wait than to miss. For those of you madmen out there wondering, this is not post-commentary. This is as it happens in your face. Action-packed journey. Oh my goodness, you almost died. And if you care about scores at all, missing
Gold medal
is
awarded.
detrimental to your score, of course. So try not to. Here's one of my favorite stages. It's quite obvious once you see what goes on in here why it is my favorite.
Light sword round.
Come on, Luke Skywalker style.
Fury mode. Destroy your enemies by pressing X and B. Take your time. Fight him slowly.
Yeah.
Look at the X and B buttons moving down the screen.
Yeah.
Victory! Platinum medal awarded.
Alrighty. Moving right along.
Up round. Blue enemies will dodge your attacks. The enemy's hits are indicated below them.
That's right, blue ones. Dodge our attack. Dive behind us. No. Dive right behind us. However, this is a flaw. In that they are leaving themselves open to attack behind us.
Victory! Platinum medal awarded.
Alright.
Up round. Blue enemies will
Bring it
dodge your
on.
attacks. The enemy's hits are indicated below them.
Come on now. Oh! Come on now. There we go.
Hit your enemy 7 times before time runs out to achieve.
Gotcha. Another thing to
Ooh, the
note
medal.
is the
Awarded.
music of this game, which is phenomenal. Surprisingly so, considering it is an indie game, which is always good though.
Boss round.
Means
This
they
boss switches
took
between
their
green
time
and the
with
blue.
this.
The enemy's hits are indicated below them.
Take our time, yeah? On now. This, of course, is a boss fight. Bosses will change their behavioral patterns.
Victory!
Oh,
Gold
gonna feel
medal
that in the morning.
awarded.
Now then. I think that's enough for today with this. Indeed it is. And if you madmen like, I will post more of these and continue our fantastic journey through this wonderful land. As long as I remember where we were. Which I probably... Oh, you will? Awesome! We will keep track. Yeah! Now then. Of course, seeing as there is one that I know watches these videos diligently. I've gained subscribers, and thank you very much for that, whoever you are. I do not know who you are, of course, unless you post more comments. So if you happen to see something you like, don't like, doesn't matter, post a comment. I'd love to hear your opinions. Anyways, we will continue this on in the next episode, whenever that may come. Thank you for watching. Requiescat in pace.